Good morning, church. Good morning, church. Thank you all so much. Hey, guys. So good to see y'all. So good to see everyone's faces. We know that the 9 a.m. service is more blessed. We already know that. I was thinking of how I was going to start today. I got a few jokes. I hope they land well. First one I was thinking about was obviously Memorial Day's coming up, right? We're celebrating the present freedoms that we get to experience on a daily basis. Things that we get to have without even thinking about it. And I wanted to make sure I didn't break any laws by bringing the guns in today. Yeah. How about them Gator boys saying hi? How about that? Can we go that direction? Can we go there? Church, I'm so blessed to have this opportunity to speak to you all today. I was just thinking about this is exactly what I've been praying for. I'm living in an answered prayer. Is that anybody's testimony today? That you are living in an answered prayer. And it's just so crazy that I always knew one day that God was going to call me for something. I knew there was something more than obviously and I'm very grateful, putting a ball in a hoop, chasing it around, wearing these tights, crazy fans yelling at you like their life depends on how you perform. Their life depends, and they want to get mad at you, for me, when they chose to put money into this thing and take it out on me. Don't we have things kind of mixed up at times, right? I hope I can really open up my heart to you guys today, and I can share with you what is meant. The title of my book is Sit to Rise, and I believe there's two types of people in this world, and it's constantly changing for us all the time. Those that are humbled and those that are about to be humbled. That when we face our mortality, when we realize and accept there's so many things we don't have control over, but of the things that we do have control over, our attitude, our thoughts, the things we watch, the people we hang out with, the people we decide to be friends with, it can directly affect the way that we view everything, especially in times of trial, especially in times of adversity, especially at times when you feel as though God might not be there. Because sometimes, and one of my favorite stories in the Bible is in Mark, when we talk about the four friends that brought the man to Jesus. That story doesn't talk about the man's faith that's on the mat. It talks about the faith of those friends. Because sometimes you need some people to grab you and bring you to Jesus. Don't stop fighting for your one more. What are you waiting for? We should have an urgency. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. No man, woman, anyone knows the time of day. It could be tomorrow. What are we waiting for? So there's one thing I want to ask everyone here to do, because obviously the 9 a.m. service is very blessed. But we know note takers, they also have an extra space in heaven for being thorough with those notes. So I want everyone, if you can, even if you have your phone, I want you to write down these 3 questions. I got 3 questions. We're going to get back to these 3 questions at the end, okay? Number 1, do you trust God? Do you trust God? Number 2, what do you need to trust him with? We all know we want to invite Jesus into our home, but maybe there's a door or two. We're like, oh yeah, Jesus, you can come out. Just stay away from that space. Yeah, I'm not ready to talk to you about my finances. I'm not ready to date your way. I'm not ready to humble myself. You know what that thing is, because I've experienced, God has nudged me quite a few times to do what he's called me to do. And the last one, what is the next thing he is calling for you to do? The very next thing. The next right thing. I'm not talking like, because we get so caught up, right, in the big profound. But what if the next right thing is making a call and saying, I'm sorry? What if the next right thing is, after this message, coming up here and praying with one of the prayer team leaders, confessing, inviting someone into the burdens that you're facing? I don't know what that next right thing for you is, but it's a lot more simple than we think. So I love to transition into my story. You ready? Church, we ready? Let's go. So, I'm a Jacksonville boy. I'm so blessed. I love my city. Great parents. They actually were the ones that helped me get ready this morning, so I hope I look okay. I hope I look okay. Shout out to Robert and Benita Young. Grew up in a great home. My parents it'll be 40 years come December. I'm so grateful for the example they set for me. I have an older sister. She actually played golf. She's a Gator. She is a Gator, but she had to go to Florida State. She went to Florida State for golf. She will take any of you guys. Think you're good? I was so blessed and fortunate to have such an amazing family that so many doors and opportunities that God provided changed the course of my life. Grew up, don't you feel as I'm 33 years old, those that are my age and up, don't you feel bad for this upcoming generation? Because we played outside all the time. All the time we were outside. We didn't have to, it was rare that I'd have to call and say, Miss Morris, is Malik home? Can he come play outside? No, you literally walk out your door, oh, my friends are there. And forgive me if I'm soft here. Maybe as a kid, you just don't recognize how hot it is, because I can barely last 10 minutes out there now, right? And we were outside all the time. I mean, drinking out of the hose, playing every sport, getting the things we shouldn't be getting into. But the beauty of that time I cherish so much. And I think about all those friends that I had at that time and how their lives are so much different than mine. I was able to go to a different elementary school, San Mateo, then able to go to James Weldon Johnson, then I was able to go to Paxson. These are all really tough schools. And then I went to Providence my last year, where actually I went to school with Pastor Billy's son, Josh, which is awesome. Where's he at? You in here? Next service, okay. Hey, see, man. I was very wet behind the ears growing up. Parents protected me from a lot. So when I started getting all of this attention as I was growing and developing, like at first when I was a freshman in high school, I could barely chew gum and walk at the same time. Just tall and lanky, just, basketball, what is that? I had an amazing off season where I became from unknown to known by every coach. And it was a dream for me when Coach Donovan came knocking. I said, you know what? I know that's where I want to go. I know that's the man that will help change the course of my career. Obviously, won 2 championships right down the street. My family could come to every game. And it was, it was far enough away, but close enough to my family. You know what I mean? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, it's far, I can make that drive if I need to, but also, like, y'all stay over there. And what was so dangerous, what I look back at this time, because, if anyone here knows my career at Florida, played in 150 games. We won 3 SEC championships, regular season, SEC tournament, Final Four, won 30 games in a row my senior year. First team to go 18-0 in the SEC when they expanded the league. We won the tournament that year. I had numerous accolades. And all of those things are so beautiful and great. I'm grateful for them, but it doesn't show the whole story. It doesn't show the whole picture. And I love to use this analogy. I like to believe that everyone's kind of familiar with the theme of a glacier. You only see the 10% of its entire mass. There's 90% underneath. And I believe that's what social media has done for a lot of us, like how it's affected us. You see people at the top and their achievements, but you don't see the depression, the frustration, the rejection, the hard work that was put in place. Like so many things that come before getting to that place. I was a highly touted recruit coming in. I was told so many great things. Patrick, you're going to be this. You have the chance to do that, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I think it is a blessing for people to speak truth or vision into your life. Duh. But someone tell me, here's the reality of where you are, and then here's the potential or the place where people can see that you can become. What's in between all of that? Work. Work. Not just the work, but the being a sponge. Having the mindset, I know nothing. So what if I'm talented? Is my character in the place where I can be coachable? I mean, it was so bad for me at one point with Coach Donovan. Just because, look, you go to college and kids that are going to college want to go one day. It is a huge transition. This is your first time of getting a taste of being an individual, being responsible, managing time, study hall, finding your classes. For me, basketball was wanting to build chemistry with your teammates. Also, then we had two-a-days and a strength program and film, and that was the place I thought was going to be easy. Basketball, I got that. Everything else, like I need to focus on that. But when basketball wasn't easy, and I didn't know what the problem was, I was in my own way. So much so that Coach Donovan said, hey, Patrick, we love you. But if you're not going to allow us to coach you, you should consider transferring and going somewhere else. And this is before, like now, you can transfer because your coach's breath smells bad. Like you find whatever reason and you can get out of that school and go somewhere else. Truth without love is brutal. It's brutal. Love without truth is flattery. Love without truth is flattery. And I am so grateful for the people that could speak truth to me with love because I knew they deposited into my life. By me letting the external voices being the ones I listened to the most, the ones that they weren't there, like these people that had all these great things they were speaking into me, they weren't there in practice. They weren't seeing me every day. They weren't championship coaches as he was. Hall of Famer now, actually. Congrats to him. And because I lacked that humility, he had to call me out in truth and love, and it changed everything. And I love, Coach Donovan reminds me so much he reminded me in the time of God the Father. We had an issue, we addressed it, we got through it. He did not expect me to be perfect. He did not expect me to be perfect after that moment, but he did expect me to change. He expected me to be humble, to have a better, things that I could control, having a better attitude, being coachable, being an encourager to my teammates, working hard, putting that effort forward. Because look, God works in so many mysterious ways that I believe he's always testing one of three things. At minimal, he's always testing and seeing where we are in one of three things: our faith, our trust, and our obedience. There's so much more, but I think at baseline, those three things at least: our obedience, our faith, and our trust. So blessed. So obviously I had an awesome career at the University of Florida. As a senior, I went on after graduating and went on to the NBA for a small stint. Was blessed to play overseas basketball for some time. I played, where did I play? Turkey, Greece, Italy, and Israel for 6 years. And if I could sum up because that's not the main things I want to talk to you guys about. If I could sum up the experiences I had living overseas, there were some really awesome things I got to experience. Our faith is meant to be personal, not private. If you're not plugged into a community, if you don't have brothers and sisters, those mat toters, it is just a matter of time until you start thinking, I'm not as bad as him. I could dabble a little bit. I can do this and that. I took my eyes off of the only person I should be comparing myself to. There's only one person we ever need to compare ourselves to. One. Jesus. That's it. How are we becoming more and more like him? And I'm not going to say that there aren't people that are exhibiting Christ-like qualities that you can mentor, that you look to as role model, etc. But they themselves are trying to model themselves after Jesus. The deception of sin, goodness. I hope, and write this down if you haven't heard this before. Sin will take you further than you ever wanted to go. It will keep you longer than you ever wanted to stay. And it will cost you more than you ever wanted to pay. I mean, it just breaks my heart thinking about who I was before. Who I was and how I viewed God and saw him as a side piece. Saw him as like, okay, God, like I'm just gonna, anybody know Salt Bae? The guy that like does the meat and puts the salt on there like that? I was trying to sprinkle Jesus into my life. Saying all the right things and yet living a completely different way. And I'm just so grateful that God had the patience and the mercy. He already knew. He already knew. So injuries cut my career kind of short. It cut them a little bit short. And I grew up in the church, so I already had this kind of foundation of like, I know there's more than just basketball in my life. I know I'm called for more. Like, was it heartbreaking that I couldn't play basketball in the way that I used to anymore? It hurt, but I knew it wasn't the end of the world. And I knew defining manhood wasn't about being big and strong and having a beard and lifting a lot of weights and not needing help. I didn't think, like I would have never articulated that was manhood. But on June 29th of 2022, when I was challenged on everything of my belief system, my faith, my trust, and my obedience, June 29th of 2022, I was in a car accident that put me in this chair. It put me in this chair. And the thoughts that are going through my head, what is this going to mean for my life? Is God in control? Does he have this? Truly, like, God, what are you doing? I'm Patric Young. This doesn't happen to me. How foolish of me to think that way. To look at the adversity that came in this trial and say, God doesn't know what he's doing. And I remember just crying out to God, crying out, God, I need you, I need you, I need you, please. And I didn't get a voice, but I got a revelation. And God said, you always need me. What do you mean? You always need me. The humility that he gave me there pointed me to this scripture, James 1, 2 through 4. I said, all right, God, you say I need you, I trust you. I've grown up in the church. I'm familiar with the stories. I know you. What am I supposed to do with this? And this is why we have to be so careful with how we define things. Because how does the world define success? Money, things, materials, whatever. How would the world define joy? It probably tie all those things in it as well. But in James 1, 2 through 4, it says, my brothers and sisters, consider it an opportunity for pure joy when faced with trials of various kinds. First part of that scripture, and I'm going to go on and finish it. Trials are inevitable, and they are diverse. We can't. It would be great if we could foresee the challenges coming in. So that alone, just that first part says, you know what? We should expect hard things are going to happen. We should know it's going to happen. And because he says, count it all joy, I almost want to say we should seek it out. Because God said joy is found in the trials. Look, that's hard, right? Seek out. I'm looking for some adversity. I'm just looking to make things more difficult today. I think the beauty behind it, as it goes on, could you do the next verse 3, please? For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. Next one. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may become perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. And I believe the word for perfect here is a Greek word. It's something with a T. But the point is, this perfect is not like you're going to have no problems, like you're going to become like Jesus, it's like that. You will become whole. You will become whole. That cycle of this thing happened, going through it, the process, steadfastly enduring it, God's working through me, I'm dependent upon him for everything. I don't want to know what's next, but I trust him. Dang, look how he's used me. I can't say it yet. Y'all got to encourage me to say it. You got to encourage me to say it. Being in this wheelchair may be the best thing that's ever happened to me. It may be the best thing that has ever happened to me. The first 30 years of my life, all about me. Wow. Sprinkle some Jesus in there. Doing all the right things. You know, let me check off this list. Going to church, listening to sermons, you know, throwing some money at the church here and there. That's good, right? Having a men's group, but my heart wasn't truly submitted to everything. It took a process of gratitude for me to, because I think this is the hardest thing for us to do as Christians and for people in general that are trying to come into faith, accepting the identity that God has given us. Because it's not just like, all right, our identity, all right, I'm saved. It's like, ho. God's like, I got way more for you than that. I got way more for you than that. And I use this analogy when I spoke here to the high school students and the youth. Gators just won a championship, so I'll use them. First off, we're not good enough to even try out. Like let's say we go to the gym, we know tryouts are happening here soon, and we see all the requirements in order to try out for this team. And obviously, I'm going to use that as maybe in the Old Testament, let's say it's the law. Have you followed every single thing of this law? Then you can go ahead and give it a try. But as it says, if you fail and you break one law, you're pretty much guilty of breaking them all. Anyone here had a bad thought today? Hurting somebody? Say a bad word? Use the Lord's name in vain? I mean, we don't have a chance, which I'm so grateful for. Because could you imagine if it was up to us? Like, I am so thankful we get to become more like God, and he is not like us at all. God doesn't doubt. God is never surprised or caught off guard. God never doesn't not have a plan. Forgive me for my poor grammar there. He is so unlike us. Sorry, I forgot where was I? Oh, identity. There we go. You are, so with the basketball team analogy, Jesus, and let's say there's 5 Jesuses, for the sake, 5-on-5, comes up, say, hey, I got you. I'm going to try out for the team. Goes through all the tryout drills, makes the team, conditioning, weights, etc. Makes the team, goes to the season, plays all the games, wins the championship. Rings, cutting down the nets, etc. And it's time for the parade, the celebratory parade where people just go crazy over this item that's just going to collect dust. But thank God that nothing that Jesus gives us collects dust. Nothing collects dust. It is all eternal. Unless you're storing up treasures here on earth, because that is your reward. But I love it. I love this part of it. Jesus is up there on the bus, and he sees you. Hey, get up here. Get up here. You come up reluctantly. and he says, here's your ring, here's your t-shirt, here's your hat. How does it feel to be a champion? Not a single one of us will feel as though we deserved it. Not a single one of us. And the hard thing is accepting that God not only loves us so much to save us, but to, like, it was weird in the Old Testament to call God Father. They didn't call God Father until much later. For him to say, all right, I claim you, and now I'm going to make you more than a conqueror. Now I have a place for you in heaven. Now you are my royal heir. You are my friend. You are my son. You are my daughter. And it's just mind-blowing. I mean, guys, can we not be so thankful for this beautiful thing that we did not have to work for or to earn? And when I was in the hospital after my accident, I mean, put yourself in my shoes. All the thoughts that I'm thinking of what's my life going to look like? Can I still be happy? Am I going to be able to overcome this? And instead of thinking about so many things I didn't have, what changed everything for me was starting to just thank Jesus. Jesus, thank you that I'm alive. Jesus, thank you that I have such a great family and friends around me that just, they're fighting for me to live. Thank you for all the things you've already given me. Let me not fear the future. Let me not have fear of the future, Lord, because I know you've been there for me in the past, and you're going to be there with me in the future. But what's most important is that you're with me right now. Goodness, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine that, and that's why we need to have urgency. We need to have urgency in spreading the word of God. We need to, like, what are we waiting for? What are you waiting for? I don't care if that person is shut you down 1,000,000 times. I ain't going to church. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You keep praying for them and bring, like, I mean, what, life can change just like that. I was in, I worked for the SEC network, and that happened this year, actually. I was working with Pat Bradley. He's an Arkansas guy with a crazy Boston accent. I don't understand how we live as Americans and everyone just talks so differently. I mean, any part of the world, of this country. And I didn't have a pen. And I said, Pat, you have something I can borrow so I can take some notes? Hands me this pen, and it says life can change on a dime, James 4:14. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I know this verse. What is this verse? Don't boast about tomorrow. Don't boast about tomorrow. Today already has enough problems, doesn't it? Today is already going to provide, as I said, we should expect that things are going to happen when we wake up that are going to push our buttons. That's why it's so important for us, like Jesus set the example. Jesus set the example of getting that time alone in the morning to put the armor on before going out to this crazy world we live in, right? Tomorrow is going to hold its own problems and issues. Tomorrow is going to have its own problems and issues. Like, what is God teaching me right now? And I love this story, and I'm going to give credit. This was from Tim Tebow. This is his story. Albert Einstein, he just came from some conference or something, and he was pretty famous at this time. He was getting on a train, and he searching. He couldn't find his ticket. And the guy that's coming through that checks everyone's tickets, he's like, Mr. Einstein, I know who you are. Don't worry about it. You're good. The guy continues going on, checking other people's tickets and checking in, and Albert is still like, oh, man, where's my ticket? The man comes back, Mr. Einstein, no, you're fine. I know who you are. Don't worry about it. Mr. Einstein's still looking through his stuff. Gosh, man, where's my ticket? Ugh. Third time he comes, Mr. Einstein, I told you, you don't have to worry about paying for your ticket. You're fine. Albert Einstein says, I know who I am, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going. How many of us We claim to know who we are. We claim to know who we are. But if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what direction is next, maybe you don't know who you are. Because there are definitely some scriptures that maybe you need some time to process. What does God really mean here and there? Well, there's a lot that need zero interpretation. Rejoice always. Rejoice always. Hey, Paul would not have been a great mental health counselor. You got anxiety? Don't. That'll be $250. Thank you. Right? True religion is this, that we care for widows and orphans. I need no interpretation for that, other than maybe understanding the context. Women and children, well, and orphans, once the father died, they pretty much had nothing. Who are the people now that have nothing, that are overlooked? Are our hearts pouring out for those people? Are we caring? Because look, obviously we need to gather. God calls for us to gather. What are we doing when we leave? You don't need to be on a stage to have an impact. Like, this is cool and whatnot, but like, if I only did this and didn't do anything else for my family, for my friends, for strangers, I think we'd be missing the point. I think we'd be missing the point. On my way here, because I was so tired, I'm hungry, and I said, as I was praying, I said, God, this is the perfect time for you to speak through me, because I know I can't do it on my strength. How many people did Jesus use that messed up, stuttering problems, didn't have money, and he said, all I need you to do is step in obedience, and I will do the rest. So let's go back to those questions. Do you trust God? Do you trust God? I know it's very easy to just say yes, but think about the times. And I think what's important about this is to think about, this is a pre-decision. This is a pre-decision that you make before anything happens. So I love, and we're going to close on this. I love using this analogy that I learned from someone else. Even if versus what if. Even if, that's faith-filled. Because faith and fear, they are both, one thing they have in common, they are both centered on something that has not quite happened yet. The future. Something that has not quite happened yet. Like, I can say, oh yeah, I have the faith to think that chair is going to hold me up. But until I take the action, you would say, you don't really have faith. It's more fear. Making a pre-decision that even if, God, I never get out of this wheelchair, there is no part of me that will ever deny you. There's no part of me that will ever doubt you. There's no part of me, even if the people that I love turn from me, you are more than anything this world can offer me. I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care what I see. I'm going to live by vision because I know you've called me. And then you look at the other side. What if? That's so fearful, full of fear. What if God doesn't do things in the way that I want him to, or the way I envisioned? We miss opportunities so often because we expect them to look a certain way. We look at our inconveniences as problems, as things that are stopping. I was in the hospital for 150 days in 2023. And I thought, God, what are you doing? I need to be out doing stuff. You're messing up. And God said, I'm the one that gave you all the opportunities. I'm the one that gave you breath. I'm the one, same way that he humbled Job, pretty much. I got the Job treatment, which I'm grateful for. Because he said, in that hospital room, that's your platform. Every nurse, every doctor, every person that walks in there, I just need you to be obedient and be a light. I tied this in to think about Jesus as he's going to the cross, understanding that he was about to suffer the wrath of God that every single one of us deserves. And not for a second did Jesus say, what if they don't love me? what if I do all of this and people still turn from me? He said, even if they have wishy-washy faith, even if they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, I am going to give them a love that covers every sin as far as the east is from the west. I will never shut my arms for people to come and turn to me. That's why we have to have urgency and not think this season that I'm in, it's not going to work. No, God can use any season that we're in. I believe when we're in the middle of adversity and hardship, that is when he can use us the most, because we're in a point where we always need him. We always need him. Church, I thank you guys so much for this opportunity. I did want to share with you guys, I've been so blessed through this time. Family, my insurance, etc. I started a foundation called the Patric Young Foundation because I saw a lot of people as I was going through my care that had no hope, completely defeated. Life is over. I'll never be happy again. I faced these thoughts. If I didn't have financial resources, my great insurance, people that were fighting for me, people that were generous enough to offer care for this thing and that thing, I mean, my situation would be completely different. So my foundation, we step in for those that are forgotten, that have had life-changing, life-altering injuries like me. Whether that's grants for families that, maybe a family has to quit their job to take care of their child. And those bills don't stop, right? Those bills keep coming, whether it's building ramps for people at their homes, whether it's providing equipment. We fight for every single person. I wish we could save and change everybody's life. I know if I don't step up at all, though, a lot of people will never get an opportunity. So I'm going to be out here after this. I have a card that talks a little bit about my foundation. I'm not asking anyone for a financial, I'm just spreading the awareness. Spreading the awareness. So I have an event coming up here in June, and there is a True Life team. You'll find it if you scan it with the QR code. You'll find it on there, and I'm just really excited that I get to do something and be a part of something that's going to affect and change a lot of lives, and we can all get to do this together. So, guys, thank you so much for your time. I hope it blessed you. This has blessed me so much, and I can't wait to see you all again. Thank you.
Can we just give it up again for Patric? What a blessing, man. What a story. I just love you, man. I've known you for a long time, but I mean, for all of those reasons I remember you helped me move I don't even know if you remember this, you helped my sister move a piano one time. We called you over, and it was you and a couple other people, but high school students needed some money, so we threw you some bucks and did all of that. But we've known him and just been an admirer of his career. But you know what, as he said today, I think what I admire most is the faith that we've heard today, the message that Jesus is so important, amen? And wow, for all of us, no matter the struggle, no matter the difficulty, no matter what we're going through, there's a God that loves us, there's a God that is for us, and consider
Amen.
It all joy. Consider it all joy. Because there's a time coming through that process where we'll be lacking in nothing. Lacking in nothing that matters, for sure. Because sometimes we might be like, well, I don't have enough money, Pastor Billy. Well, but what do you have, though? What has God given you? Sometimes we lack in things that don't matter, but we lack in nothing that does.
And sometimes we have a lot of things that don't matter.
That's exactly right.
Climbing the ladder, and you realize, dang, I'm on the wrong wall.
Amen.
Anybody else can relate? Climbing the ladder, you're like, dang, why am I here?
I'm in the wrong place. But so, what a wonderful, and I just want to say, yes, we do. If you go out, Pat's got his book out there. He could sign that for you, take a picture. Please go do that. That book will be a blessing to you, and hand it off to somebody. Or maybe it'd be a gift to a person in your life that would need to hear this story. It's an amazing book, and he'll be there to greet you as well. And, of course, this foundation, we did set up a True Life team. Let's hear it, True Life for the team. Come on. which allows us to be a part of this event on the 29th. So some of us can go there and be a part of this event on the 29th. You'll get information on that, so that's a big part of it. He isn't asking for it, I am. I would really like you to consider whatever God puts on your heart. And if he doesn't, I mean, it's fine. It's voluntary. It's all up to you. We're not, no compulsion or any pressure. But just consider if you would like to support this work in this foundation that Patric's doing to bless the lives of others who are in similar circumstances, to encourage them, to give them life coping skills as well as equipping them physically and other things that they would do. And he can give you some information out there about that as well. Consider making a financial contribution to this new foundation that Patric's doing, and we'll all come there and be a part. For those that want to come to the event on the 29th, you'll hear more about that because I know some of our people are going to come and be there as well.
It is on Sunday, so
yeah.
I understand if you can't make it. I get it.
And we do. We understand that too. But we'll talk about that as we get a little closer to the 29th of June. And the reason it's on Sunday because that's on the 29th, because that's the day of your accident and that's the day that you're remembering. So listen, could we just do this as we close? Would everybody just stand with me, please, for a moment? Ask you to just bow your head, if you would, for a moment. I just want to offer this opportunity to anyone here today. If you need prayer for anything in your life, we have designated prayer partners at every service. They're here. They're intercessors. They know how to pray. They know how to come into agreement, and their faith is strong to believe God for whatever it is that you might have. And I know this is a little different format for us today, but I would hate to say that we had an opportunity to ask people to come if they need something from the Lord and to be prayed for and prayed over and not give you that opportunity. So today, if that is you, I just ask you to step out from where you are. Just come right over here to the side. You'll meet people here who will pray with you. That offer is extended not only in this moment, but as we go even toward the end of our time as we wrap up the service. If you want to come back in after having visited for a moment, we're always here to pray. We believe in that because we know God answers prayer.